And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, as GameSpot's live show here at Comic-Con 2013 continues. I'm your host, Chris Waters. Joining me on stage is not the two Tonys, as I mentioned to you before, but instead Bill Trinan from Nintendo. Bill, welcome to the stage, and it's time for The Wonderful 101.
That's right. The Wonderful 101 is coming to Wii U. It's going to be out in September. It's really the next big release following right on the heels of Pikmin 3.
Pikmin 3.
Which is coming out next month.
Nice placement, by the way.
Right?
Peeking out there.
Little Pikmin peeking out.
Yep.
You know, The Wonderful 101 is developed by Platinum Games. And
those guys, man.
Those guys are amazing.
They make some excellent stuff.
The thing that I really like about them, and obviously, you know, kind of observing them as an outsider, is they really take sort of a multi-layered approach to their development. They have that core gameplay mechanic, which we'll see here, that sort of forms the basis of the gameplay.
Okay.
And then they just layer upon layer of other elements on top of it to make a really, truly, in this case, wonderful game.
Wonderful indeed. And we're going to hop right in here and give you folks a look at it.
That's right. The Wonderful 101 is produced by Atsushi Inaba, who I think many people know. The director is Hideki Kamiya. And what we're seeing here is elementary school teacher Will Wedgwood, as he and his students are en route to school. He has a brief little flashback here, but very quickly you're going to see an alien invasion taking place here. And you'll understand Will's role in all of this.
No mere school teacher Will Wedgwood is.
That's right. But this is a perfect example of sort of, you know, what Platinum Games does is they take the gameplay, and then they, on top of that, they have this very unique personality. They create very different games from what our internal studios do.
Yep.
And offer a very different flavor.
I like the way you're working the opening credits into this opening montage.
Exactly.
Things are exploding, and then it says Hideki Kamiya.
Right. And here you have the school bus train. The kid's obviously in danger, and Will Wedgwood does as any good teacher would do. He's going to try to calm the kids down, you know, get a handle on the situation.
Naturally.
And so first thing you're going to do is this quick introduction to some of the core gameplay, which is in the Wonderful 101.
That's a great action shot.
It's a great action shot. As obviously, I'm worried the alien invasion may be happening around us. We've got emergency vehicles.
1 or 2 fire trucks, we're doing okay.
Yeah.
If we get to 3 or 4, then we'll maybe think about evacuating.
So within the Wonderful 101, you're part of a team of 100 heroes.
Yep.
What you're able to do on that team is recruit other citizens to join your team. And that comes into play later when you and your team are morphing into these Unite abilities, which we'll see in just a moment. Here, we've just cleared a stage. Of course, the game does an amazing job of tracking your time, tracking your progress, tracking your scores, giving you medals, and obviously they range from bronze to pure platinum.
Pure platinum. So a little bit of a competitive element there. You can try to clear stages faster, better, and stronger,
exactly. So you'll want to go back in, replay your stages. And here what we're going to see very quickly is that Will Wedgwood is indeed the alter ego of Wonder Red, who is one of the Sentinels that form the Wonderful 101.
Wonder Red don't wear no glasses.
That's right.
So this is, I mean, you're just getting into it. This is, but this is sort of setting the stage for, here you are in the pleasant metropolis of
Blossom City.
Blossom City.
Exactly.
It even has a pleasant name.
Right. Here we see P-Star. This is your essentially your support bot.
Yep.
Help you through the game, give you advice and things like that. And here he's going to be instructing Wonder Red to get to the front of this bus and stop it before it goes crashing into Blossom City Elementary School. So quickly, what you need to do is dashing. You jump up to the top of the bus. You're running along this bus train, and you can see speed is a very important part of this game, both in terms of your movement, but also in terms of the way that once you become Wonder Red, as you will in just a brief moment here, the way that you do your morph attacks, your combos, they all play into the speed of the gameplay and how quickly you're able to do the different
So it's generally
a
pretty fast-paced.
It's very fast-paced.
Yeah.
It's very, very action-oriented, which makes it pretty significantly different from a game like Pikmin 3, which is much more strategy-focused.
Now, I'm sorry, but I just want to point out, the scale of this bus is absurd for the size of these people that are in here. I mean, it's like 8 times the size of him. No one could possibly aspire to reach those rings if Will Wedgwood is an average human man.
That's right.
But, you know, that's what is so fun to play around with in games, is this sense of scale, especially when you're working with superheroes. And what's interesting to me is like, this is a superhero game, but all the superheroes are really tiny.
They're really tiny, but then what they do is they morph together to form these great transformations.
Yeah.
Here what we see is our first look at Will Wedgwood transforming into Wonder Red, and he does this in 3 billionths of a second.
That seems like it's pretty quick. I mean, he seems to be taking his sweet time, but I guess we've sort of suspended the linear flow of time.
That's right.
And then, boom, he's putting on the mask.
He's putting on the mask.
And lo and behold, he's
so
Wonder Red.
just as I would recruit citizens in the game, I think I would like to recruit you.
All right, let's do
to
this.
my horde of heroes.
I'm going to put it on right side up this time.
There we go.
Okay. Yep. Continue demo as planned. Only now way more super.
Right, so once you've transformed into Wonder Red, that's really when the gameplay starts to take off.
Okay.
The way that the gameplay works is you playing on the gamepad.
Yep.
You can use the right analog stick or you can use the touch screen, but you would form lines of different shapes.
Let's go.
That's right.
Wonderful 103 now here, folks.
Right, so you would form lines in order to, are you ready to pull that
It's
off?
squeezing my face.
That's it, yeah, there we go.
But we will give these away to you folks.
And
Fear not.
These are available here on at Comic-Con. We're giving them out in the booth as well.
Fantastic.
And in fact, both, I think, later today and tomorrow, we're going to be doing a wonderful 101 team photo shoot. Anybody who happens to have a mask or comes dressed as a Wonderful One superhero is welcome to join. We're going to get some nice shots of a lot of Comic-Con fans.
Excellent, excellent.
So quickly, what you see here. One, you're collecting these O parts. These are, anytime you defeat an enemy, you gather these. These then you use in the shop later to buy different items, different abilities, upgrade yourself.
For your specific hero or for any number of the heroes?
For your team.
For your team,
right.
Okay.
And so then what goes on, you have these quick attacks that you do, and these charge up the battery meter that you see there. The batteries are used for your morph abilities.
Yep.
Wonder Red is also known as the Crimson Fist. And when he uses his morph abilities, the rest of the 101 team forms into this big crimson, sort of translucent fist that you then use to beat up on the enemies.
I like it.
Right? Now, the more members you have on your team, the bigger the Unite Morphs become. So that's where it becomes important to round up additional citizens, add them into your team, and then you make those transformations by, again, very quickly. You can do circles for the fist. You can do a straight line and the A button to transform into a sword. The more heroes you have, the larger the sword, the larger the fist.
And is this where we're getting a glimpse of the sword here?
We are getting a glimpse at Wonder Blue, and so he brings to you the Unite Morph that offers you the sword.
Yep.
We have, there are whips and other items that you'll see as well. He's
didn't quite nail that one.
Didn't quite nail that one. But of course, the storyline, these guys are a secret team of superheroes created by the United Nations.
They would never do such a thing.
To protect the Earth from alien invasion.
Excellent. Well, I mean, one can only hope that RUN is doing the same thing.
Exactly.
To guard us against the alien menace, which lurks ever in our skies. Bill, you mentioned before sort of collecting, superheroes to your cause.
Right.
So in terms of the level design and the world you're in, is it a pretty open spaces that you're maneuvering through?
Right. You have essentially the levels are designed to flow through some relatively open spaces. There will be objects you can destroy. What's key is that the Unite Morph, which is obviously a key part of battle, you're forming into fists and swords and whips to fight the enemies. You also have objects like ladders and chains that you can morph into, and those help you traverse through the environment, add a certain degree of puzzle solving to it.
Yeah.
And so again, this is sort of that idea where Platinum Game takes the core idea of these Unite abilities and adds these additional layers around them.
And it's not just about combat, it's also about locomotion, maneuvering through the environment and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Neat. And so now these guys are just, skydiving in there.
That's right.
Catching up on old times.
Catching up on old times. This is Elliot Hooker, Wonder Blue.
No time for intros.
That's right.
Also, a sense of humor about it.
Exactly, and that is, specifically, I think when you bring Hideki Kamiya and Atsushi Inaba together, they bring a flair to those games that you don't see in other products.
No, and that's just one of the things that makes these Platinum Games projects so vibrant, so intriguing.
Yeah.
So this is the Crimson Fist.
This is the Crimson Fist.
It's a pretty nasty looking thing.
It is. You're also going to see here quickly. We're going to do the sword, and then we'll see what's also called a Unite Morph, a Unite build. And what that does is the Unite build allows them to morph into objects within the terrain.
Yep.
And then adjust the objects
into objects in the world.
That's right.
Okay.
So boom, here comes the sword.
And
right
is
there.
that, are we using Wii U touchpad?
So you have the
stuff for
option
that?
of either using dual analog and doing your morphs on the right stick,
Okay.
right? Or you can use the touch screen to do those.
Nice.
Obviously, with a game like The Wonderful 101, speed becomes important.
Sure.
And so for some people, they're just going to feel, okay, the ability to quickly do that on the control stick is going to make it a lot easier.
Yeah.
And particularly in this level, obviously just the very beginning of the game, as you get later into the game, you will find yourself going from fist to sword to gun to whip in quick succession. And so certainly it's going to be, I think, the type of gameplay that gamers, core gamers, are really going to aspire
Are going to enjoy. But you
succeed
know,
at.
this kind of art aesthetic and sense of humor, this is definitely, you know, a game that's meant to have broader appeal than just sort of that intense action element that you can certainly find in you know, striving to maximize your combos, leaderboard times, etc., etc.
Yeah, well, certainly, you know, Platinum Games is definitely known for creating challenging gameplay.
Yes.
And I can assure you that The Wonderful 101 has multiple different difficulty levels, but you will be challenged.
Some of them will be painful for you. And if you're into that kind of thing, excellent.
Excellent. Great.
So here we're just smashing our way through.
We're smashing our way through. Here you can see them recruiting some additional, you draw a line around these particular heroes, or these citizens, to recruit them to your cause, and that will wake them up. They're kind of stunned on the ground there. And we can see, there you go. We got it. So you've added some students and a citizen. All right. Again, collecting the batteries, which builds up that meter, gives you the ability to do longer morph powers. As you're doing the morph powers, it drains that battery meter.
Yeah,
you can recharge.
Which we see right up top there on the screen. Yeah.
You can see the fist has gotten bigger as he's recruited additional citizens.
Now he just kind of like jettisons a bunch, and the fist shrunk down. Was that a function of getting hit by an enemy, or?
That's a function of getting hit by an enemy. It's also a function of, for example, if you're creating that particular pattern, the circle to form the fist. If you do a large circle, that'll use up more of your team and make the fist larger. If you do a quick smaller circle, you can make a smaller fist.
Interesting.
Not use as much
so
of the
there's modulating not just what attack you're doing, but the size and intensity of that attack.
Exactly. The larger the fist, the more it'll drain the batteries.
Sure.
So there's certainly a kind of a back and forth risk reward there. Yeah. So here you see that this is an example of the chain, right? You have to use your team to create this chain to create a bridge for you to get from one segment of the bus to the next.
Longest bus ever.
It's, yes.
You know, long, tall, it's all, you know, Blossom City. Is that
Blossom
the place?
City, that's right.
Blossom City municipal infrastructure is robust, to say the least.
And here you see we've come to the end of the tracks. The aliens have destroyed the tracks. And so the Wonderful 101 is going to use their Unite Build ability to create a ramp and jump the train off the tracks and save the elementary school.
Excellent.
Yes.
The bus that couldn't slow down. All right, so then are we going to like incline?
So you can see here they're electromagnetically uniting through their suits, and that's going to create this ramp. You can see, if you look closely, you can see the little heroes formed inside the ramp there.
Like really trying hard to make that thing tilt
That's right.
upwards.
There we go.
There it is.
There it is, and boom, and then here comes Wonder Red. He does his fist, bam.
And that's it. Alien menace defeated. Problem solved. Wonderful 101.
Wow, they've saved the
set.
school. They've got a lot of aliens they've got to fight their way through.
So is that the sort of progress? You go to different areas of the city, clearing them out of all of the alien invasion?
Yeah. And so the Wonderful 101 is going to be coming out this September on the 15th. It is only playable on Wii U. It is the next big game from Platinum Games. We're very excited to have it.
Yeah, well, Bill, thank you so much for coming by here and showing it off. And folks, if you want to get your hands on one of these, go over to the Nintendo booth here at the San Diego Convention Center Hall, or tweet at us at GameSpot using hashtag GSBaseStation and tell us a little something about the Wonderful 101. We'll send you one of these guys. Bill, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure to look at Wonderful 101. Folks, we're coming back to the live stage show shortly. Just going to check in with Homer. Something else here on Comic-Con. There's just so much to see. Go take a look at it. We'll be back momentarily.